Hello and a very good evening. Didn't I promise you that you will come back live once again? Yes, we were all drenched. It rained heavily with the voters who were there on the queue. Even we got drenched. But then, a promise is a promise. We promised you that we will give you a roundup at the end of the day, and thus we are here. Elections have finally concluded for the fifth phase of the all-important election, 2024. And if you are thinking, as why am I giving so much of importance to the election and reporting from Bengal so vigorously and rigorously, because the saying for 2024 Lok Sabha election is, अगर दिल्ली बार पर दस्तक डालना है तो इस बार रास्ता लखनऊ या उत्तर प्रदेश होते हुए नहीं, बंगाल होके भी जाना पड़ेगा. And it is not without a reason. In 2019 Lok Sabha election, when BJP managed to win 18 out of 42 Lok Sabha seats in the state of West Bengal, it had only been a huge push to BJP to surpass the number that is 300. Can BJP really repeat that magic for 2024 Lok Sabha election? And thus, Bengal is so important. Bengal, number one, is not a BJP-ruled state. You have Trinamool Congress, which is in power for 3 consecutive terms in the state assembly, and you have all seen what had happened in 2021 Bengal assembly election. And you ask any poll pundit, if Bengal assembly election is of any reference, then people would say that possibly that was the most boisterous election that many have witnessed in many years. The election had music, the election had violence, the election had tutu mama, the election had all host of drama that you can expect in other political potboiler. And finally, the results were there for everyone to see. And Trinamool Congress as a political party is clinging on to 2021 outcome, questioning when BJP in Bengal Assembly election had given the call for Abki Baar 200 Par in Bengal Assembly of 295 seats. Trinamool Congress is trying to suggest if they could not do it in Bengal Assembly election, they would possibly not be able to do it in Lok Sabha election 2024 as well. But Bengal, BJP, and of course BJP is extremely upbeat about the fact that there had been consistent work organized at the organization level. That's one. Second of all, there had been multiple cases of alleged corruption against Trinamool Congress leadership. And thus, clinging onto the corruption narrative, they're trying to suggest that Trinamool Congress cannot repeat their magic, what they have done in 2021 assembly election. And thus, again I say, in Lok Sabha election 2024, if Uttar Pradesh is important, then equally Bengal is important. If Maharashtra is important, then equally Bengal is important. If Bihar is important, then equally Bengal is important. And thus, you have the entire attention of media on Bengal from day one. Because everyone knew in the 7th-phase election, when you have an election running for 1.5 months, close to 2 months, lot can change in one phase, lot can change in one political campaign, and lot can change with what people are saying, which leader is saying what. But hold on, it's not only about Bengal, it is also about Raebareli, and that's the reason I am joined by Saurav Shukla, reputed journalist and almost like my brother and equal partner of NTT. Saurav Shukla from Red Mic, आपका स्वागत है. You're most welcome to this live broadcast. And Saurav Shukla, I know it had been a hectic day for you, hectic day for me, hectic day for my colleague Titash, but I really want to round up as what really happened in Raebareli. Rahul Gandhi was seen quite active. Yes, there was a situation where some go back slogan was raised against him, but overall, what transpired in Raebareli today?
Very crucial phase for opposition this time. Today, 14 seats of Uttar Pradesh were in fray, and in last 2019, Tamal, BJP had won 13 out of 14 seats. And today, the crucial Raebareli and Amethi. Don't forget, both the seats are adjacent to each other. Amethi, में Smriti Rani की लड़ाई है और रायबरेली में राहुल गांधी इज द कैंडिडेट फ्रॉम कांग्रेस एंड 3 days बैक सोनिया गांधी with Priyanka Gandhi and Akhilesh Yadav. And in that rally, Tamal, she made a emotional appeal to the voters of Raebareli, saying कि मैं आपको अपना बेटा सौंप रही हूँ. So after that today, Tamal, and I'm saying it with all responsibility and with the ground feedback. Last time Sonia Gandhi had won with a margin of 1.5 lakhs, but this time margin will not be that much. BJP has done everything to give tough fight to Rahul Gandhi. Dinesh Kumar Singh is the candidate against Rahul Gandhi, who is minister in Yogi's cabinet, and he's a member of Legislative Council. He's a local man, and he's been there, active there for last uh, more than 20 years in politics. And today, Rahul Gandhi also surprisingly he reached Raebareli around 11 a.m. in the morning, and he visited a lot of booths there. He started his booth visit from Bajrangbali Temple, Hanuman Temple, and then he went to more than uh, 15 booths. Yes, of course, as you have rightly said, that at one place he was hooted by few BJP supporters, but that is quite okay. It happens during the elections and during the political thing where the elections are so charged up. So all in all, our voting percentage is almost 61% in Raebareli. We are still awaiting the final figures from Election Commission of India and Election Commission of Uttar Pradesh. And in Amethi also, we saw a tough fight from Kishori Lal Sharma against Smriti Irani, who is the cabinet minister, union cabinet minister. Last time in 2019, Tamal, Smriti Irani defeated Rahul Gandhi with a margin of 55,000 votes. And Kishori Lal Sharma is the candidate, and Kishori Lal Sharma has been the face of Gandhi family in Amethi and Raebareli from last 33 years. So Kishori Lal Sharma is aware of the people. People know him. The workers of Congress know him. In fact, Priyanka Gandhi held more than 133 Nukkad Sabhas in Amethi and Raebareli in almost 8 days. She campaigned there. She stayed there. So I think a very interesting elections in Amethi and Raebareli. Rahul may win, but margins are not going to be as much as 2019.
Well, I didn't say anything. Saurav is actually giving out a prediction. And I'm so glad you're doing it here on our broadcast. I know you have a broadcast lined up on Red Mike as well. I'm sure Sanket would be asking you this question. So before Red Mike, you're actually revealing that your prediction is there is a chance that Rahul Gandhi may win Raebareli and the margin may slip down. But the emotion that Sonia Gandhi had tried putting forth, कि मैं अपना बेटा सौंप रहा हूँ, you think that is working?
Interestingly, Tamal, I'll tell you, this election definitely there is no Modi wave, and I don't see a wave of change also. So the way the candidates are good, the opposition candidates are good, at least in North India, I can say about the elections are very tough for BJP, and Raebareli has been bastion of Congress party. But if you can see from 2019, the winning margin has been going down 4 lakhs, then 2.5 lakhs, and then 1.5 lakhs. So that margin was going down continuously. So this time also, I think Congress has a base there in Raebareli, but Samajwadi Party, who is Akhilesh Yadav, is ally of Congress Party. His party worker, his ground presence is much better than Congress Party in Raebareli and Amethi as well. In assembly elections in 2022, Tamal, out of six constituencies, assembly constituency, Akhilesh Yadav had won 4 assembly constituencies, and he lost 1 assembly constituency with the narrow margin of 5,000. So Samajwadi Party is quite strong in the ground. So that is why when Sonia Gandhi made that emotional appeal to the voters of Raebareli in that rally, Akhilesh Yadav was also present along with his 4 MLAs who had won from Raebareli in 2022. But that number 4 has come down to number 3 because one MLA of Akhilesh Yadav has switched the side. Now he is with BJP. His name is Manoj Pandey. He joined BJP Devbhova yesterday on the same day when Sonia Gandhi held a rally with Akhilesh Yadav. So BJP has done everything to give good challenge to Rahul Gandhi. But again, I want to say that this emotional appeal of Sonia Gandhi, and that Gandhi's Raebareli has been bastion of Gandhi's. Firoz Gandhi, the grandfather of Rahul Gandhi, was MP from there. Then Indira Gandhi also, she was MP from there. Sanjay Gandhi, and then later on Sonia Gandhi. So people know Gandhi family there, and Gandhi family has done significant work. So there is aims in Raebareli. There are only two aims in Uttar Pradesh, one in Raebareli and one in Gorakhpur. There is a NIF, National Institute of Fashion Technology, FDDI, rail coach manufacturing factory. So Raebareli is better off than other, if we compare it with other tier 2 cities of Uttar Pradesh.
So, Saurav, I'm very curious to ask. I know you are running out of time, and I would let you go before your 8 p.m. broadcast. But I'm very curious to know, as Rahul Gandhi went to the Hanuman ji Mandir, uh, that that optic, that political optic, nothing happens in politics without a reason. You very well understand now. People also understand, and we as political journalists, we also understand that nothing happens in politics without a reason. If somebody is going and doing something, if the camera is following, you get the point that the person doing something, being a politician, wants that to be shown and seen by people. So when Rahul Gandhi goes to the Hanumanji Mandir, and that too on the polling day in Raebareli, that political optic is raising a lot of questions, mixed questions. आप कहते हैं कि धर्म के बारे में हम लोग नहीं, आप कर्म के बारे में करेंगे, बात करेंगे, मैनिफेस्टो के बारे में बात करेंगे, लेकिन आप जब जाते हैं मंदिर में, कहीं ना कहीं प्रेशर है, ये क्रिटिक्स कहेंगे कि राहुल गांधी के ऊपर भी प्रेशर है, इसीलिए ऐसे पॉलिटिकल ऑप्टिक्स में वो इंडल्ज कर रहे हैं. आपको लगता है ऐसा?
देखिए तमाल, हमें लगता है हम लोग एज ए जर्नलिस्ट ज्यादा एनालाइज कर लेते हैं. मैं बिल्कुल, ये बहुत वाजिब सवाल भी है और बहुत नेचुरल सवाल है जो आपने पूछा है. जब नरेंद्र मोदी मंदिर जाते हैं तो पत्रकार या पॉलिटिकल एनालिस्ट से सवाल नहीं पूछते कि नरेंद्र मोदी क्या मंदिर जा रहे हैं, क्यों, क्या ये ऑप्टिक्स है. लेकिन जब राहुल गांधी मंदिर जाते हैं तो ये सवाल उठता है कि राहुल गांधी क्यों मंदिर जा रहे हैं, क्या ऑप्टिक्स है. अगर तमाल, मैं बताऊं आपको कि राहुल गांधी कैलाश मानसरोवर की यात्रा कर चुके हैं. He's been to Kailash Mansarovar, which is one of the toughest pilgrimage site in Hindu religion, one of the toughest, where the oxygen levels are low. He has gone there in 2019, I guess 2019-18. He's gone to several temples during his Bharat Jodo Nyaya Yatra. But when Rahul Gandhi goes to temple, it made BJP make, or journalists and for the analysts, they made big issue out of it. Rahul Gandhi is no anti-Hindu, or he definitely is a religious person. He believes in Shiva. He's been to the temple. He goes to the masjids also. He goes everywhere for that matter. So I think, yeah,
No,
definitely
this is
Rahul
not.
Gandhi
This is
is.
definitely not the first time that Rahul Gandhi has visited a temple. And the intent of asking this question is not
I got
because
it. I got
Rahul
it.
Gandhi has gone there. Thus, I am asking this question. But and it is a fair point, fair argument, Saurav. When you say when Prime Minister goes to a temple, nobody questions, and when Rahul Gandhi visits a temple, or BJP starts questioning Janayudhari, whether Rahul Gandhi is Hindu or not, we absolutely the fact that Hindu, if you are a Hindu or not, it's not something anyone should question. And Hinduism isn't appropriated by one political party or by one leader. It is not in the custody of one political party trying to propagate a certain kind of an ideology. But if the opposition say that BJP is trying to do dharam pe rajniti, so same sawal can also come to them. And I'm not talking about Rahul Gandhi alone. The question is also for Mamata Banerjee. The question is also for all other leaders. When all the opposition parties are trying to question BJP if they are doing dharam pe rajniti, then anyone towing the middle line might just say that आप सवाल पूछ रहे और दूसरी तरफ when आप सेम चीज कर रहे तो क्या आप प्रेशर में आके ये कर रहे कि मन से कर रहे.
Tamal, very interesting, and I'll explain it to the viewers of NTT. And see, when Narendra Modi goes to temple, no issues. As I said, no issue at all. Rahul Gandhi goes to temple, no issue at all. But धर्म पे राजनीति करना तब होता है when you say that if Congress comes to the power, आपका मंगल सूत्र बेच करके वो उन लोगों को में बांट देंगे जो ज्यादा बच्चे पैदा करते हैं. That is called when धर्म पे राजनीति. मंदिर जाना नरेंद्र मोदी का या मंदिर जाना राहुल गांधी का, ये धर्म पर राजनीति नहीं है. पर जब आप कहते हैं कि मुसलमान, वो जो ट्वीट, वो कार्टून आता है कि वो SC/ST का अंडा आरक्षण का, अचानक से एक अंडा फूटता है, उसमें से मुस्लिम निकलता है और बाकी अंडों को लात मार के निकाल देता है, that is धर्म पे राजनीति. That is the politics on religion. When you ask people to vote for BJP on the name of Ram temple, then that is politics on the religion. Going temple is not a issue where you can say that कि ये धर्म पर
Absolutely.
राजनीति है. वो तो बीजेपी जाए, मोदी जाए, तब भी
Absolutely.
कोई समस्या नहीं है. मंदिर या मस्जिद किसी एक पार्टी की बपौती नहीं है. तो लेकिन जब आप ये
Absolutely.
स्टेटमेंट
धर्म
देते हैं मंगलसूत्र
किसी भी की
पाकिस्तान
और किसी
शहजादे,
भी नेता की संपत्ति नहीं है, सबका है।
पर आप स्टेटमेंट्स जो देते हैं वो इशू है. क्या
आखिर
राहुल
आखिर
गांधी
में,
बोल रहे हैं कि
हाँ,
हाँ
सॉरी सॉरी,
जी
कंटिन्यू
प्लीज.
सौरभ।
बस I'm just saying कि क्या राहुल गांधी ने मंगलसूत्र वाला बयान दिया, या राहुल गांधी ने कांग्रेस कह रही है कि हमें राम के नाम पर वोट दो, या कांग्रेस कह रही है कि हम मुस्लिम को आरक्षण नहीं मिलना चाहिए वगैरह वगैरह. सो आई थिंक मंदिर जाना इस मसला नहीं है. मसला तब है जब आप स्टेटमेंट देते हैं जिससे पोलराइजेशन हो.
ओके सौरभ, बिफोर आई लेट यू गो, पांच पांच चरण तो हो गया. And I'm definitely, you, me, we have been traveling extensively. एक सुकून तो है कि चलो पांच भी बीत गया और दो बाकी है. Uh, what's your feeling now? Do you think the nara of "Ab ki baar 400 par" is a realistic nara now after the fifth phases over nationwide?
I think Tamal, that'll be too that's going to be too early. Let's wait for the final phase, and then we'll analyze it. You get me back on 1st of June, when the seventh on the end, when this campaign or the polling ends on the first. The final phase is on the first, and then we'll talk. Then I'll reveal. I'll try and give you my feedback, my assessment. I've made notes of it. So uh, let's keep
I've
that.
been doing the same thing. After every phase, I'm writing down my
Yeah, yeah.
assessment, my prediction. Of course, things are so polarized now, you can't say openly. And being a journalist, you
Yeah.
can't. The moment it doesn't suit one narrative, one political party, then you are anti. आप दलाल हो,
Maybe
आप ये हो, फलाना
we'll
हो,
stick our
ढिमकाना
neck
हो.
we'll
इसीलिए
stick our
it's
neck
always
out.
safe to keep them in the closet.
Yeah, yeah. We'll stick our neck out on 1st or 2nd of June.
You know what, sort of, elections have happened in seven seats today, and Trinamool Congress has called for a victory rally in Bonga. The elections have been over just a short while back. They have called for a victory rally in Bonga. We have seen a similar victory rally happening in northern part of Bengal soon after the elections. We have also seen in between, victory rally had been taken out by Congress from a different constituency, and today in Bonga at 7:45, I think it has already started. Trinamool Congress has called for a victory rally in Bonga Lok Sabha seat, and it's very significant a seat because the seat is currently held by BJP member of Parliament Shantanu Thakur. Well, Saurav, thank you so much for your time. Another live broadcast to catch up
Yeah,
with.
yeah, yeah.
Thank you so much for your
Thank you.
time. I really appreciate your time, and every word you say, it is, it is always meaningful, and we love listening to you.
Pleasure is all mine. Don't be formal, Tamal. We are brothers. Bye bye. Take care.
Take care, take care. So that was Saurav Shukla, and giving us a roundup of Uttar Pradesh, and he has beautifully explained how things stand and where things stand today. But then, coming back to Bengal, as I gave you a cue, that Trinamool Congress has now called for a victory rally in Bonga. Let's focus on Bonga, and I'm joined by my colleague Titash Mukherjee. Titash is here on this broadcast, and Titash had been there in Bonga all through the day. She has traveled extensively, she has spoken to people, she has also filed a brilliant report which you would be airing in this very live broadcast. आपको दिखाने की कोशिश करेंगे stories which others won't show. First live broadcast we have shown you as how people standing in the queue without a shade had actually faced, or rather had endured the heat of the summer, at the same time had to brave the downpour, the sudden uninvited unsolicited downpour, and thundering and lightning, how much they were impaired from casting the vote, and how much they had to wrestle with time. So we had shown you that story because it was important to communicate to the election commission the necessary arrangements have to be there in every polling booth and every polling station, not just one polling booth identified as the polling booth. But now, before we come to that story, first thing first, Titash, how had been your experience in Bonga today? You have spoken to so many people, and we have been repeating since morning. Bonga is extremely important given the CAA factor. How much of that you have felt on the ground? was CA a dominating factor when you were interacting with people? And do you think it's a dominating factor for Bonga Lok Sabha constituency, where you have Thakur Nagor, known to be the citadel of the Matua sect? Do you think the CA issue is still an emotive issue for those voters who had gone to vote in Bonga today?
Tamal, in Bonga itself, in Thakur Nagar, we spoke to multiple people about the CAA issue and the overwhelming, like personally speaking, the kind of feeling, kind of feeling that I gauged was there is an absolute air of confusion over the proceedings of this entire enactment of the Citizenship Amendment Act. Some have a sketchy idea of what it can look like, and some are absolutely against it. We spoke to multiple people, and people ranging from different ages. Some of them have said, see, I'm a citizen, I have come here to cast my vote, I have come here to exercise my franchise. Here's my voter card, I have an Aadhaar card, I have a PAN card, I have property papers to my name. What else? What more do I need for citizenship? How else do I need to prove myself to be a citizen of the country? But then again, at the same time, we did find conflicting views, although far less in number, who said that yes, CAA is perhaps a welcome decision, and this in turn would ensure citizenship to the people. But then the overwhelming feeling, or the overwhelming emotion over the Citizenship Amendment Act is that of confusion. Confusion, disgruntlement, disappointment. I think disappointment is what comes out and stands out as an overt emotion, mostly because the Matuas or the people of Thakur Nagor were rallying around the implementation of the CAA. I'm sure you've seen the visuals that had surfaced on social media where people were rejoicing with bugles and drums on March 11th when the act was implemented. But then at this point on today's date, people are utterly disappointed. They had asked for citizenship, but then I don't know if this sounds right, but then they received a kind of a document which they are not quite sure as to how it would go or how it would pan out. And talk.
I know, Titash, I know you had a long day, but I hate seeing you without a smile. Cheer up, beta. I know you got drenched. I know you had a long day. I don't know whether you have had food or not. But this is how we all operate. And elections are all about fun.
Definitely. No,
People have a
like
problem
you
with me
said,
smiling, but I
like
think we
you
should
said,
always show a smiling face because you get to see a lot of anger and hatred around.
of course. No,
So,
like you said that
Titash, you have
people
also
in
collected a couple of sound bites. You have spoken to people about CAA. You have inquired from them as whether it is still an issue for them or not. Aniket, our producer, if those bites are ready, can you play them? So yes, let's hear a couple of reactions from the ground that Titash had picked up for us, and primarily on the issue of CAA.
আমার কর্তব্য যে আমি সঠিক জায়গায় ভোট দিলাম, আমি এই ভারতবর্ষের নাগরিক একজন, সেটা আমি বুঝতে পারবো যে আমি নাগরিকের প্রমাণটা দেখিয়ে দিলাম যে আমি একজন ভারতবর্ষের নাগরিক ভোট দিয়ে।
আপনি যে নাগরিকের কথা বললেন, এইবার যে হয়েছে সিএ ইমপ্লিমেন্টেশন হয়েছে, সিএ এটা কি এবার ভোটের কোনো ইস্যু?
না, সিএ এটুকু তো আমার তো মনে আসে না। আমরা সিএ এনআরসি করবো কেন? আমার তো আধার কার্ড আছে, আই কার্ড আছে, প্যান কার্ড আছে, আমি একটা বিজনেসম্যান। আমার ওই সিএ এনআরসি কী করলো ওটা আমার কিছু দরকার নেই। আমার ভোট আমি সঠিক জায়গায় দেবো, সঠিক জায়গায় প্রুফ করবো।
আপনি কি সিএ এর জন্য অ্যাপ্লাই করেছেন?
না, কেন করবো এটা? ওরা করবে, বড় বড় নেতারা করুক। এখন যদি প্রধানমন্ত্রী এই আগে উপরে লেভেলের সমস্ত লোকে যদি মিডিয়ারা কারা মানে মন্ত্রী লেভেলের তারা যদি করে, তাহলেই আমি সবাই করে আমিও করতে হবে।
আপনাদের এখানকারই নেতা শান্তনু ঠাকুর বলেছেন সিএ এর দ্বারা সবাইকে নাগরিকত্ব দেওয়া হবে।
না, সে ওকে তো আমরা কোনোদিনও ওরকম সুযোগ সুবিধা কিছুই পাইনি এবং ভবিষ্যতে পাবো কিনা সন্দেহ। সে ও মুখ দিয়ে অনেক কিছুই মুখে বলে, আদতে পুরো সঠিক না।
দাদা, আপনার কাছে কি সিএটা এবারের ইলেকশনের কোনো ইস্যু?
না, এটা আমাদের কাছে কোনো ইস্যু না, কেন এই দেশের জন্ম, এই দেশের নাগরিক, এটা আমার কাছে কোনো ইস্যুই মনে করি না।
তো আপনারা কেউ সিএ এর জন্য অ্যাপ্লাই করবেন না?
সেটা প্রয়োজন যখন হবে তখন দেখা যাবে,
এখন
এখন আমি প্রয়োজন মনে করি না,
আপনারা প্রয়োজন বোধ করছেন না অ্যাপ্লাই করার?
এখন প্রয়োজন বোধ মনে করছি না।
এসেছেন, আপনার কাছে কি কি ইস্যু, মানে কি ইস্যু মাথায় নিয়ে আপনি ভোট দিতে এসেছেন?
অ্যাকচুয়ালি এখন যে বর্তমান পরিস্থিতি সিএর পরিস্থিতি চলছে, আমাদের প্রায় মানুষেরই এই সিএর ব্যাপারটা রয়েছে। এটা তো 2019 সালে পাশ করেছিল, সেখানে একদিন যেন হয়নি, তা সেটা এত বছর পরে কেন হলো? এটাই একটা আমাদের সবার কাছে একটা হয়ে দাঁড়িয়েছে, সমস্যা দাঁড়িয়েছে।
কিন্তু আমাদের তো হোম মিনিস্ট্রি থেকে বলেছে যে এরকম সিএ দ্বারা লোকেদেরকে নাগরিকত্ব দেওয়া হবে। আপনি কি অ্যাপ্লাই করেছেন?
না না, অ্যাপ্লাই হয়নি, কারণ অ্যাপ্লাই করার জায়গাই তো নেই। ওখানে পোর্টাল যেটা রয়েছে সেখানে তো বলাই আছে অনেক প্রুফ দিতে হবে, যে প্রুফগুলো আমাদের কাছে নেই। আমাদের কাছে যেহেতু আধার কার্ড রয়েছে, আই কার্ড রয়েছে, প্যান কার্ড রয়েছে, খাদ্যসাথী কার্ড রয়েছে, আবার নতুন করে কী প্রুফ দেবো আমরা? আমাদের প্রুফ দেওয়ার কোনো জায়গাই তো নেই। আমরা ঠিকই আছি তো, আমাদের নাগরিকত্ব পেয়েছি, আবার নতুন করে কী নাগরিকত্ব চাই আমরা? এই সিএর ইস্যুটাই আমাদের কাছে খুব একটা বাজে ব্যাপার।
Well, so far in Bengal, 25 seats have already gone through polling in 5 phases. Phase 1, 3, phase 2, 3, phase 3 had 4, so you had 10, and then phase 4 had 8, 18, and phase 5 had 7. So 25 seats have already gone through polling. Now, incidentally, I've traveled in all those constituencies, and I've also spoken to the local people, ground reporters on the election day, after elections were over, and we do have a clarity, but it's not safe now. Maybe we have to wait till 1st of June after elections in all 7 phases are over. But then as things stand now, the fight has been extremely interesting, that much I can say. Now, whether the fight has been interesting in all the seats, I would reserve my comment on that. But then the battle has been so far interesting. 5 phases over, and 2 more phases left. And it was considered that the 4th and the 5th phases would be the deciding factor, rightfully so. Because in these 2 phases, you have seats which are in the south of Bengal and which were won by BJP, but then had faced lot of challenges, primarily under the cloud of CAA. You have Ranaghat. Ranaghat went to polling in the 4th phase. You have Bonga, which has gone to polling on the 5th phase. You have parts of Barakpur, which comes Kakinada, Kachrapara. There, the CA issue is also relevant, which has gone to polling today. You have Krishnanagar, again, which had gone to polling in the 4th phase, where CA had been an emotive issue. So there are constituencies in these two phases where CA had been a matter of electoral politics, I would say, and since 2019. And that's the reason the 4th and the 5th phase could be the factor. Now, one party has called for celebrations. That doesn't mean the other party has not celebrated internally. There are internal murmurs within Party A, there are internal murmurs within Party B, there are internal murmurs within Party C, and of course there are internal murmurs within Party D. And amidst all of that, you also have a full-fledged fallout between Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary and Congress. Now, I did not say which party is A, B, C, D, but as far as Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary and the fallout with senior leadership of Congress is concerned, it is there out in open. Now, Mallikarjun Kharge had clearly said that anybody wants to be in Congress has to toe the line, taking offense of the fact that Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary had tried lambasting Mamta Banerjee or slamming Trinamool Congress, which has almost been his political standpoint. But then Mallikarjun Kharge, Congress president, has clearly suggested that Mamta Banerjee and Trinamool Congress are part of India alliance. Something that Mamta Banerjee has also said, reiterated time and again, that while there is no India alliance in Bengal, she is very much there for India alliance outside Bengal. And just yesterday, we have seen as how Mallikarjun Kharge's posters at the Pradesh Congress office were literally defaced. Imagine, state president is Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary. Pradesh Congress president in Bengal is Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary. Mallikarjun Kharge is the Congress president who, in a way, had cited his disagreement with Congress, indicative of a fallout, and also going to the extent of saying that people have to toe the line or else have to leave the party. And soon after that, when you see this, that Adhir Ranjan at the Pradesh Congress headquarter, Mallikarjun Kharge's posters have been faced. It is clearly indicative of what's brewing between Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary as an individual and Congress as a party. Now, whether Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary is also the entire Pradesh Congress as one and Congress central leadership another, it's again, we have to wait and see. But central leadership of Congress takes serious cognizance of it and has also sought a response. They have taken serious cognizance of the fact that how come President of Congress Mallikarjun Kharge's face can be defaced at Bengal Pradesh Congress office over quote-unquote disagreement. So while parties make celebrations, whether it's just political optics, again we have to wait and see. But I would stick to my standpoint that fourth and fifth phases would be the deciding factor. The fourth phase is over, the fifth phase is over, and in a way, these two phases and all the phases which have happened so far expectedly would create a situation of a gap between the winner and the runners-up. Expectedly, whether that has happened or not, we cannot say now, or we cannot confirm. Two more phases left, and they would also be important, but they are in Kolkata. You have Boshirhat seat under Sandesh Khali. How much of that would have an effect? Again, you have to wait and see. But today, our principal focus had been voters. आपने देखा ही होगा, अगर लोग बारिश में भीग रहे हैं, so we have tried raising that point. And today, there had been an inclement weather, thunderstorm, lightning, massive downpour, incessant rainfall, which lasted for about an hour, two, and even more. To an extent, there had been waterlogging, and that had led to huge inconvenience. Glad the voter turnout dipped to a point of embarrassment by Bengal standards. Yet, this is another story which Election Commission has to see. When Election Commission of India talks about vote Shakti, where Election Commission of India puts out posters all across the country trying to encourage people to come out and vote, where Election Commission of India puts out videos showing us how polling officers are enduring a long walk and taking the Herculean task of reaching to very difficult terrains, maybe in Arunachal Pradesh, maybe in other parts of the country where the terrain could be very difficult. We appreciate that, and we definitely clap for Election Commission officers at that point in time. But similarly, if there are lapses, if not anybody, we will highlight. So here's another story, once again reported from Bengal, different constituency in Bonga, from where my colleague Titash Mukherjee has filed this fantastic report. Nobody has reached there. In Bonga, there was a thunderstorm, power got snapped in counting booths, and most of the so-called legacy media didn't care to find out if there had been any specific polling booth affected because of that. But my colleague Titash Mukherjee cared to find out the truth, because here it is important for us to understand how much such an inclement weather or nature's wrath can impair the voting process and affect it. She walked the extra mile to find out this story for you, the viewers. Watch it to understand.
Polling is currently on for the fifth phase of the all-important 2024 Lok Sabha elections. But here in this polling booth in Bagda Mostrompur, which is in the Bonga Lok Sabha constituency of Bengal, polling had momentarily come to a standstill. The weather has not been kind today. We were greeted by the scorching heat in the morning, followed by a storm and then rain that battered the election festivities. As you can see that there are plastic tents or shamiana like situations which were created for the voters to ensure ease of the voting process have been battered down by the rain and blown away by the winds. Plastic over here is crumpled and it is on one side. At the same time over here you can see the bamboo scaffold atop which the plastic lay is also now in mere pieces. It has also fallen down. So the authorities came in and they started to pull the strings together, and now voting has started, but the voting is happening in candlelight at the moment. এখানে কতক্ষণ কারেন্ট নেই?
অনেকক্ষণ মানে 11টার পর থেকে কারেন্ট নেই।
11টার পর থেকে এখানে কারেন্ট নেই। না, মাঝখানে তো ভোট বন্ধ হয়ে গেছিল।
ভোট বন্ধ এই বৃষ্টি দুর্যোগের কারণে বন্ধ হয়ে গেছিল।
কতক্ষণ পরে ভোট শুরু হয়েছে?
ওই প্রায় 1 ঘন্টা।
দাদা আপনার ভোটটা হয়ে গেছে? হ্যাঁ। তা আপনারা যে ভিতরে গেলেন তখন কারেন্ট ছিল?
না না, কারেন্ট ঝড় হলো তো, কারেন্ট থাকবে কি করে, প্রচন্ড ঝড় হলো তো।
এই দিক থেকে তো আমরা দেখতে পাচ্ছিলাম মোমবাতির আলোতে ভোট হচ্ছে।
ওখানে এমনি দেখা যাচ্ছে, যেটুকু আলো আছে দেখা যাচ্ছে।
কোনো জেনারেটর বা কিছু ব্যবস্থা নেই?
না, আমাদের এখানে নেই।
So this elderly gentleman over here went and cast his vote in spite of the difficulties which is prevalent inside. There is no electricity. Currently the polling process is being conducted in candlelight and lights of torches and natural light. There are no generators or there is no second option to restore electricity at the moment. Electricity poles and wires, they have come down. They say that an electricity pole has been broken, and at the moment they are trying to rebuild it, trying to restore the connection. So the elections are being conducted here, and elections are being conducted in absolute candlelight. You can see there are no lights inside. Elections are being conducted, people are voting, there are polling officers who are doing their duty, people are casting their votes, all in candlelight. This is the situation of this particular polling center here in Bonga. This is the Helencha High School, where a model polling booth has been created by the Election Commission with all the amenities that are needed to ensure a smooth voting process for the voter. Not far from here, just a few kilometers away from here, is the Mosrompur High School, where it has also been converted into a polling booth. This is one side of this model polling booth. On the other side, if we go, you would see there are selfie stands, there are refreshment corners, there are enquiry counters, there are medical counters, none of which we saw in that same polling booth, in the polling booth in Mosrompur High School, which is just a few kilometers down the line. This is the stark difference between two polling booths in the same area, in the Bagda area of Bonga in West Bengal. With video journalist Ronnie Chakra, this is Titash reporting for News The Truth NTT.
Titash, it was a fantastic report. And I once again say, when you were filing the report, I did not see any other media camera around you or around that place. It is sad that we do not focus on such things. If elections have to be conducted with a burning candle, then I think Election
Polling is
Commission
currently
should take
on for
note
the
of
fifth
it.
phase of the
Because Election Commission tries talking about model booths, and the model booths are great examples. But if the great example is not implemented all across, then it would end up staying as just an example for us to be for us to aspire for it and not actually be able to live it every moment. Titash, when you went to the model booth, you saw a lot of cutouts, you saw a lot of arrangements. Did you see similar arrangement at that particular booth where power got snapped and elections had to continue with a burning candle?
So the difference was quite stark, you know. There were a couple of model polling booths on our way to this particular polling booth, and all of them were decorated. I would use the word decorated in quite an outlandish fashion. There were flowers, there were balloons. Of course, it is the festival of democracy, and of course, all of us are going to celebrate it. But then why this disparity between booths? One booth, there is like an almost unhealthy amount of money that has been spent in putting up cutouts, flexes, and arranging different counters, different places for different people to do all election related activities. But at the same time, this particular booth that we went to, electricity had been snapped. There was no backup, there was no generator, there was literally nothing. When we had arrived to that place, the elections had just started. It had gone to a standstill, after which it had just started. And when we had started the polling process, it was being conducted over flashlights from your phone before the candles even arrived. We could not take the visuals, of course, because there are some, like, we do have some
Restrictions.
level of access, but then it was being conducted using flashlights from the phone, torches, after which candles were rushed in and then candles were set up. So it was completely dark. On one side, there was a window, by God's grace, so there was natural light. But on the other side, it was completely dark. Our voters were visibly disappointed and they were complaining once they had come out that, it is difficult for us to see. We can't see the booths, we can't see the polling machine, we can't see which button to press. It is difficult. And when we asked the authorities present at the booth as well as the locals about when the electricity or the power would be restored, all of them said that it is difficult to say because we haven't bought the required stuff or the required material to fix the problem. And there might be a chance, or there is a chance that electricity will not be restored at all during the day. So
Well,
it is quite a quite literally two dichotomies which we saw on today.
and we are not holding election commission responsible for the downpour. We are not holding election commission responsible for the natural calamity. We are not holding election commission responsible for the climate. But I want to make it very clear to the viewers. Please understand. After we got the information, that there had been a situation of this kind, that because of the thunderstorm, power got snapped at this polling booth and voting process has come to a standstill. That was the limited information we had received. And where Titash was in from there, this particular place is almost 1.5 hours drive. So she drove down for 1.5 hours from the town area to this remote village that comes under Bonga Lok Sabha constituency. And in this 1.5 hours, Titash and Ronnie, they could reach, but set. So what is your plan B? What is your plan B for power backup? Now, I do get the point that power
Taman, I'm
backup is
sorry, I'm
not.
interrupting you over here, but then when you're talking about a plan B, the feeling that we got or what we could gauge from this particular voting booth was that there is no plan B. There
Wow,
was no plan B. So it was
fantastic.
taken for granted. It was taken for granted that power supply would be steady. It was taken for granted that everything would fall into place, and it was taken for granted that everything will pan out as planned. There was no plan B. And this is not just one incident, not one alienated booth. We could, of course, reach to this one particular booth, but then across the Bonga region, there were places. Even during the first live in the morning, the polling booth that we were at least there was a genset, but the polling booth that we were at, the power supply was snapped and voting did come to a standstill for at least 15-20 minutes. And like you said, we are not holding the Election Commission accountable for the weather conditions. Election Commission surely does not, have it in their hands. But then we are questioning one thing. Why is there such a disparity? Like there are several model polling booths, Tamal. I need to make this clear. So we have been to one model polling booth and I have come across visuals of several other model polling booths which are decorated beyond measure. There are flowers, there are shamianas, there are decorated sequins here and there. It almost looks like a wedding house or like what we say in Bengali. It looks like a biye bari. Of course, it is a festival of democracy and you have all the right to celebrate it. But all we are questioning is this disparity, because in this particular voting booth, Tamal, there was an elderly gentleman who had come down to cast his vote. So I asked his family members that, he recently, met with an accident and, there were injuries on his hands, on his face, he could barely walk. So I asked his family members that, ma'am, the condition is not conducive enough. Why did you, bring him out? He does not look well. He's barely being able to walk. He's wobbling, literally wobbling to cast his vote. So she said, it is this casting his vote, this particular right is extremely important for him. And surprisingly enough, this gentleman, he could not walk. He got off at the gate because it was a school. So it was a muddy playground. So the toto or the rickshaw that this elderly gentleman came in could not go in. So he got off at the gate and he had to literally wobble inside because there was
So
no
there was no
wheelchair either.
wheelchair. So there was
There
no
was no
wheelchair.
wheelchair either. So it was almost as if you were conducting elections in one room and the bare basics were there, your papers and the EVM
So
machine. That was just there.
I say this very consciously, I say this very consciously. While Titash may say that we are not holding election commission responsible, yes, we are not holding election commission responsible for the bad weather, but election commission must be accountable, must be held accountable. And while you have the Election Commission of India in New Delhi, you have your nodal officers and you have your other officers. How you get your work done, it's entirely up to you. When something good happens, for example, there had been not a single major incident of violence in the state of West Bengal, and everybody is hitting the work of Election Commission. We must join the appreciation as well. We will appreciate that. If there is violence, then election commission gets absolved. It becomes the responsibility of the local political party and the local administration. Again, it's very political an outlook. We don't want to comment over there. But for good, if election can be appreciated, for concerns and for challenges, election commission first should be apprised and then should be held accountable. We have tried apprising today. Please take care of each and every booth. Model booths are fantastic. It's good to have such model booths, but such model booths cannot absolve you from your responsibility to have proper polling booths all across the country. And this is appalling. If an elderly gentleman who barely could walk, and if Titash is saying that he had to wobble inside the polling booth because he had recently, he's still recovering from an injury, it is a shame for one and all. Gentleman has shown the commitment to go ahead and cast the vote for the sake of the country. Shouldn't the country care for such elderly people? By just providing basic amenities that would make the election experience much more dear and dearer. And when Titash was saying that, I did ask, why did he come out and vote? And she said, he wanted to, it is his responsibility. I'm telling you, every Indian who comes out to vote, they see this as a very personal service to the country. And I keep saying this. Every individual who comes out to vote, they come from the point of serving this. So that elderly gentleman had also come out to cast his vote, even after all the adversities, because he thinks this is his responsibility towards his service to the nation. Let us all be little more thankful to such people by providing proper amenities. Model booths are fantastic to have. You must have larger than life cutouts, inspiring quotes, inspiring ads, motivating color theme, everything said and done. But as it said, injustice to one is injustice to all. Similarly, if voters of every polling booth are taken for granted by one individual or two individuals or by one office, then they should be held accountable for the right example. That's all we want to say. We hope and pray that Election Commission of India and others do see this not as a criticism, but as a humble expression of care. Well, viewers, thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for connecting with us. And this is our commitment to the people of this country. While you are on the field, our principal commitment will always be towards the people of our country, my country. And इसीलिए आप सभी से निवेदन है, please go out and watch our stories from Jharkhand. Yesterday we have filed a story from Jharkhand. I don't know why the views are so less, but I think it's a story everyone should watch, because the story concerns Adivasis or tribal people doesn't mean that you won't watch. And just throw away your sense of elitism. It doesn't really matter. We have a president of this country who comes from the tribal community. That's how we feel so proud about all in this country as Indians. So throw away your elitism and do watch that story, because every life matters, just not the life of Adivasis. Every life matters, irrespective of which caste, which creed, which religion, which gender he or she belongs to. So it's a humble appeal. Do watch our stories. Ensure our commitment towards the people of this country never fails. Tomorrow, once again, there's another story coming up, and sixth and seventh phases would see similar commitment from our sides. And in between, we ensure to do more ground report, also for a few leaders. For now, I thank you for your support. I thank Titash for this fantastic work. I'm deeply, deeply, deeply touched, Titash, the way you have done this story and the way you have observed. And I say this openly. The objective of Tamal Shah at NTT is to create Rakta Beej of right kind of journalist. And Titash has arrived there. I'm so happy that she has rightfully observed the right things, that she has cared to observe the trouble of that elderly woman. She has cared to observe the challenges at that polling booth. And she did not dither for once, even though she was completely drenched from from head to toe. She did not dither for once to travel that extra 1.5 hours, reach there and file this story for you, the people of my country. For now, Titash, thank you so much. And I thank all my viewers for all the support. Keep that support going. Good night and take care.